Richie. Okay. Okay, thank you. Good evening and welcome to Good evening and welcome to the first ever electronic meeting of Community Board 5. The members of the public can view this meeting via YouTube or watch the meeting by going to our Community Board website homepage at www.nyc.gov/QNSCB5. Board members, everybody be quiet, please. The board members are participating via Zoom, and they will be able to take part in the meeting. The elected officials will have the same opportunity as the public. A few reports from the elected officials. Okay, Donald Passantino, would you please lead us in the salute to the flag?
Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of
of the United States of America
and to the
republic
for which it stands, one
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all. Thank you, Donald.
You're welcome.
The next order of business is a presentation by Cheno, the Queens Community Liaison from the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. Is Che with us?
Hi, this is Che.
There you go. You're on.
All right. So, good evening, everyone. It's great to join you all here on this cyberspace Zoom thingy. It's my I've been on these for the last month, and it's been exciting. So it's been a month since I joined your board to give you a presentation, and a lot of things have happened. But considering that I made a presentation to you all last month, I'll just go over the major updates that we have. So currently, as of 4 p.m. today, we have about 1.4 million cases, and in New York State, we have 64,262 cases outside of New York City, and that's of 7 p.m. today. And as of 5 p.m. today, New York City has 74,601 cases and 3,544 deaths. This number may be different on New York Times because our data was updated at 5 p.m. New York Times was updated at 6:30 p.m. So what's going on right now? This COVID-19 situation is, it's taken, I mean, it was like this in March too, but it has become more serious to the point where we have instituted several measures. So right now there is widespread community transmission in New York City. All New Yorkers who do not work in essential services should remain home. All non-essential gatherings of any size are banned. If you feel sick, stay home and protect others by practicing enhanced hygiene. Only the very sick, hospitalized patients should be tested. Please do not hoard paper masks, especially medical-grade masks. And recently, we made an announcement. All New Yorkers should wear a face covering when they leave home if they can't maintain 6 feet of distance from others. This does not replace the need for people to stay home, maintain physical distancing, and practice good hygiene. So you saw in the news, our governor extended the PAWS Act. So basically, PAWS stands for Policies Assure Uniform Safety for Everyone. And basically, it's a series of workforce restrictions which have been implemented through various executive orders are extended until April 29th. School closures are extended until April 29th as well. New York City parks, including dog parks, are now closed. All non-essential workers are directed to work from home. Pharmacies, convenience stores, grocery stores, gas stations, laundromats, banks, mass transit, and other essential services will remain open. As for the face coverings, we, like I said before, we recommend that all New Yorkers wear the face coverings when outside of their home to help stop the spread of COVID-19. A face covering can include any well-secured paper or cloth, like a bandana or a scarf that covers your mouth and nose. And as for healthcare issues, New Yorkers without health insurance can apply through New York State of Health through May 15th. Previously, it was until April 15th. It has been extended. But you must apply within 60 days of losing coverage. The state is also launching an online portal to connect hospitals, healthcare facilities with healthcare volunteers because we are in serious need of them. Doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, physicians' assistants, you name it, we need them. The state is also expanding additional facilities. For example, you saw the Javits Center, the Central Park Field Hospital, and the USNS Comfort Hospital ship. They're accepting COVID patients now. The federal government is also deploying additional healthcare personnel. Various organizations have graciously donated ventilators and personal protective equipment. And the mayor had a press conference, was it yesterday or the day before? I'm losing count of the days. But he had a press conference at Brooklyn Navy Yard. Those places are one of those places where they manufactured other goods, but now they're pitching into the effort. They're producing personal protective equipment for healthcare workers, and we greatly appreciate their help. And also, the governor stated that he will issue an executive order allowing medical students who are set to graduate this spring to begin practicing. And pharmacies are now offering free home delivery of prescriptions. And with the loss of employment, New York State has implemented various laws and to encourage people to sign up for unemployment benefits. And for adults and children that are concerned about food, New York City has the grab-and-go meals at various locations around the city. Adults and children can pick up 3 meals at a time, and no adult will be turned away. No registration or identification are required. From 7:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., they're open to children and families. From 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., they're open to adults. And those are my updates. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead. Feel free to ask me. Thank you.
If you have a question, press raise your hand, and we'll turn your microphone on. If there are no questions, thank you, Che. We'll go on to the next item of business, is the public forum.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you. Under the public forum, I don't have anything here. Mr. Giordano, turn his mic on. Do you have anything under the public forum? I see. Well, let me see. Ken, you have something to say?
Yes, I just was wondering, did they address the problem that they reported last night on the news about the people in Forest Park that were not supposed to be there? Are they able to lock it up in any way?
Did you ever try locking a forest? I don't know the answer.
Okay, thanks.
Laura, I'm sorry, Laura, you have something?
I just want to point out that people who are calling in can't raise their hand, so I don't know how we want to deal with if they have questions.
We'll open up after we go through this. Okay, so thank you, Laura. Yes. Who is? Okay.
Well, I don't have questions now.
Did you raise your hand?
I don't have one.
Yes, you do. On the bottom right-hand column, it says raise hand.
In reactions.
Reactions, okay, thank you.
Yes.
You have anything?
No, if I do, I'll just say my name.
There you go.
Paul?
No questions.
No question.
No question.
No question.
No question.
Thank you.
Walter Clayton's on the telephone.
Who?
Walter Clayton is on the telephone.
Okay. All right, thank you. So, Gary, did you get anything from the public?
Nothing.
Okay.
No
So,
testimony.
under the public forum, we have no report, no comments. Okay, thank you. The next order of business then becomes the, Richie, you had something on the public forum?
All I wanted to say was that it's very important that we maintain our meetings, but I also feel that once this entire incident is over, that we go back to public meetings, because a virtual meeting, there's just too much lost that we have in public meetings, and I'm hoping that we go back to them soon. And I wish everyone well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richie. Okay, so then the next, who's that? Raise your hand, please. Hit the raise hand if you want. Okay. So there's no one. The next order of business is the chairperson's report. Okay, under the chairperson's report, I would like to introduce Joe Nasarino. Joe has a couple of items for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Hello, folks. I will be quick. I have a couple of comments from, statements from Acting Borough President Sharon Lee. First, census. Please relay to your membership, and I don't mean just the board, but your community, that folks need to fill out the census. It's www.my2020census.gov. And this census, obviously, as you folks know, but people need to know, determines how much federal funding and representation for the next 10 years. Community board membership, term extensions. BP Lee announced that the term for 2020 appointees will now begin on May 31st, 2020, instead of April 1st, and last through March 31st, 2022. That means current community board members whose terms expired on March 31st will continue serving for an additional 60 days, and it's pursuant to the New York City Charter. I gave Vinny and Gary and Laura the numbers in case anybody wants to look at that, to look it up. Fresh Foods Direct Initiative. BP Lee has partnered with Fresh Direct to feed organizations throughout the borough of Queens. And it's a daily operation going into every board. Drop-off of food for your board is Peter Cardella Senior Center, so you know. And last but not least, Fuel the Front Lines. The borough president has completely funded with economic development and the Queens Night Market to send home-cooked meals to hospitals throughout the borough to feed their workers. 250 meals per hospital are being delivered. And that is all. I want you all to be safe. She does too. Wants you all to be safe and well. And hopefully we will see each other soon live. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
you.
Thank you.
I now have a report from the 104th Precinct, Mike Barish, the Community Affairs Officer. Statistically, robberies are down by 2. Felony assaults are up by 3. Burglaries are up by 12. And we all know why that is, because all the stores that are closed and businesses that are closed. Grand larceny is down 9. Grand larceny auto is up. And part of that is because they've been stealing rims and wheels off of expensive vehicles or expensive rims. And people are still leaving valuables in the cars. And everybody's got their cars parked on the streets. So just be aware of this, and the precinct is available for us, and that's Officer Barish's report. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Who's that? Whose ceiling are we looking at? Hello? Hello? Hello. Okay, no comments? Thank you. Raise your hand if you're on camera. Who's that telephone? Hello? Someone is trying to speak on the telephone? I'm sorry that we have these problems. We'll continue.
Fred Howard?
Yes, Fred?
I want to publicly thank the community officers and the precinct. They came down, were very helpful after the incident at Sacred Heart. They came down to a meeting and really explained what happened, and were very forthcoming, and I haven't had a chance to see them since to personally thank them, so I'd like to thank them now.
Very good, thank you. All right, anything, yes?
Yes, Vinny? With the precinct, do we have any other information about the incident that happened at the Cooper Avenue shelter with the assault?
Did
they say anything about that?
There was someone assaulted, one of the persons assaulted another person with a weapon.
You know what kind of weapon?
Well, they said it was a stabbing. You don't know, they didn't say what they used.
Okay.
Could have been a dinner fork, a knife, it could have been a comb, could have been anything.
So they didn't tell us anything?
Correct, and then, and they were taken under arrest.
Okay, so somebody, one person was arrested, I thought.
I'm sorry, you gotta repeat that
I
slowly?
thought one person was arrested, but we had no clue what the weapon was.
Yeah, no idea what the weapon was.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Okay, so as I said earlier, staff that's with us tonight, Gary Giordano and Laura Mulvihill. Yes? Oh, okay, Karen.
Yeah, I was just wondering also about the homeless shelter. Do we know if there are, or they're going to place metal detectors in? Or is it something we can bring up to 104?
The original presentation that was made at City Hall, I guess it was part of their tools and equipment. I think the council member mentioned he saw them there, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't think anyone else has been inside other than the council member.
All right, thanks.
Okay. So again, we have Gary and Laura, and let's see what I have. Gary, we received statements from the elected officials. Okay, whose hand is up? Edward.
Hi, Vinny. In regards to the police department and the prison system releasing an abundance of inmates because of the COVID-19, are these inmates being just released? Are they being monitored with ankle bracelets or any type of tracking? And where do they think some of these inmates going? Are they going into the shelters? Are they going into a halfway house? Is there any more information on the release of the prisoner?
I have no answer for that because we were not given any information. Scuttlebutt or rumors are they're given car fare and a list of shelters around the city if they need to go somewhere, but we don't know that for a fact. Anyone else?
Vinny, if I could
Go ahead, John.
If I could just let people know, under the participants icon on the bottom is where people can use the raise hand button.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling them.
It's not a separate icon today. You have to go to the participants, and then there's a button to raise your hand.
Okay. I have it different on mine. Who wants to speak on
reactions?
Who?
I have my raised hand on the reactions button.
I don't see it. All right, what do you have to say? Who's on the phone that's speaking?
I think Lee Rottenberg wanted to say something.
Hello? Are you there?
Time like I did yesterday.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, yesterday during the practice session, I saw the icon at the bottom of the participants list, and it's not there for some reason now.
I have mine on the right hand under the participant list. It's on the bottom. It's got.
Yeah, I had it yesterday, but it's not there now.
Did you? Okay, we'll have to work on that.
Yeah, so if I want to say anything, I'll just chat and get your attention.
Okay. So, any other questions? Okay. Mr. Giordano, do you want to read the statements or?
Sure.
So you're going to start with let's see.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Start with the comptroller. That's on our list. The first one is the comptroller.
The controller sent quite a long statement.
Yeah, I'm sure you could break it down into.
Well, if you could hear me, with regard to people being let out of jail because of the virus, and I guess for other reasons, Councilmember Holden said last month at the meeting that something like 40% of those who are released from jail, if I recall correctly, wind up in the shelter system.
Okay. All right, so have you looked at Stringer's report? Do you have anything to comment on it other than?
I would like to read a little bit of it.
Go right ahead.
He took the time to submit it, and this is essentially entitled "The Controller." Stringer calls on city to fully assess impact of COVID-19 on New Yorkers by race, ethnicity, and occupation. I'll read at least the first paragraph. He's addressing this to Mayor de Blasio and Commissioner Barbeau, the health commissioner. I'm writing today to add my voice to those urging the city to release demographic data that reveals the race, and ethnicity of those who have been afflicted by the COVID-19 virus in New York City, which I was heartened to learn the administration is currently working to accomplish. By all accounts, this crisis is deepening systemic social and economic inequalities in New York City, and the consequence of these disparities is reinforcing a cycle of transmission, mortality, lost income, and poor health that disproportionately affects lower-income people of color. Our response and relief efforts must consider impacts of these widening divisions, which is why I think it is so important for the city to fully assess the role played by race and ethnicity in this outbreak.
I know the president spoke about that, and he was directing his staff to see if they could figure out why and how deep it goes. And then he was also going to carry it internationally, see if the African populations around the world have the same problem. Okay, so we already heard the borough president's statement. Would you like to do the Congresswoman Meng, please?
Okay. Okay. So Congresswoman Meng puts forth, good evening, CB5, dear community board members and staff. Congresswoman Meng and her team hope you and your families are all healthy and well. We want to remind you that while we are working remotely, we continue to be accessible to all our constituents in need of assistance. Please do not hesitate to reach out by calling our district office number and leaving a voicemail at 718-358-6364 or sending an email to NY06, the Congressional District in New York, casework@mail.house.gov. The Congresswoman is aware of issues regarding mail delivery in the CB5 area and is working to ensure that mail delivery resumes while keeping in mind the health and well-being of our postal workers. Finally, if you haven't received our flyers about rebate, resource, and health and well-being of our postal workers. Finally, if you haven't received our flyers about rebate, resource, guide, or SBA loans, please email us so we can get that out to you as soon as possible. We are stronger when we work together and help each other, and we will get through this. We look forward to seeing you again very soon. The Congresswoman's staff also attached a significant amount of information, which could be emailed to board members with regard to the stimulus package and what kind of grants and other assistance are being provided by the federal government, which is quite extensive.
Thank you. Could you do Councilmember Holden's statement?
Okay. The councilman writes, hello neighbors, Community Board 5 members, and fellow elected officials. I hope that you are all staying safe and healthy, and I thank you for your continued work and volunteerism as we navigate this unprecedented crisis together. It's important to continue protecting ourselves and our neighbors through good hygiene and social distancing, but we will get through this one day at a time. My office has been closed since March 17th, but my staff and I gladly continue to serve our constituents every day while working from home. Please do not hesitate to call 718-366-3900 or email district30@council.nyc.gov, my office anytime when you need assistance. First and foremost, I proposed legislation last week that would require New Yorkers to wear a face covering in public during this coronavirus emergency. I believe it is time for our city to take bold steps to stop the spread of the virus, and the recommendation from Mayor de Blasio to wear a mask or face coverings is not enough. countries around the world have mandated the use of masks in public, have been very successful at slowing the spread, and I think we should follow suit. I encourage all of you to wear a mask if you go outside for essential reasons. And there are many easy ways to make your own homemade mask from simple household materials. Secondly, the Cooper Avenue shelter had a violent incident on April 3rd between two residents inside. According to the 104th precinct, the two residents had a dispute that ended in the stabbing of one individual and the arrest of the other. I have reached out to Department of Homeless Services Commissioner Stephen Banks to ask how the administration plans to handle this situation, and I will continue to provide updates as I receive them. Going back to the coronavirus, I have proposed several other pieces of legislation related to the city's response to this pandemic and how it can be more prepared to face similar crises in the future. I have been writing letters to city agencies urging them to prioritize resources for our first responders and corrections officers, and I have expressed my frustration with Department of Health Commissioner Dr. Barbeau and Mayor de Blasio for their response to the virus. I have also been in touch with the Postal Service about mail delivery issues and covering the shifts of sick employees so the offices can continue to function normally. I will do everything in my power to continue holding our government accountable while supporting my constituents and their local needs. Thank you again for your dedication to our communities, especially during this time. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you. Could you then go to Assemblymember Hevesy? We're doing welcome to the meeting, Guyanel.
Okay. Assemblyman Hevesy hopes everyone is well. Our office is continuing to monitor phones and emails while working remotely. If anyone has any questions or concerns related to the state response to the COVID-19 outbreak, issues with unemployment, suspended services, or any other matters in which we may assist, please call us at 718-263-5595 or email the Assemblyman at hevesia@nyassembly.gov. Our office thanks the board and staff for its leadership in this difficult time. Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you. If you would read Assemblymember Barnwell's.
Okay. We got this from his Chief of Staff, Victoria Leahy, and there are a lot of attachments which can be distributed to board members via email.
Very good. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to read a little bit. I hope everyone at CB5 is safe and healthy. For tomorrow's meeting, I just wanted to send over the following notes on behalf of Assemblymember Barnwell's office to include with the meeting minutes. Although our office is currently closed, we are forwarding phone calls, so you can continue to call our office number 718-651-3185 with any questions or concerns. As we have limited staff available, if you are not able to get in touch with us, please leave a message with your name and number, and we will call you back. Our office is working to purchase PPE, protective equipment, mask, gloves to distribute to hospital workers and first responders. If you're unsure what relief benefits you may be qualified for or how to access those benefits, please call our office so we can connect you to those resources. Lastly, I've attached a few of our guides that we've been circulating with constituents to help better explain programs and resources available for those experiencing hardship due to COVID-19. And there's a resource list. There's information regarding senior meals, New York City Department of Education grab-and-go meal service, other food assistance, Small Business and Employee Resources.
Okay. We have a couple of, we have a notice, Laura, if you turn Laura on, please. Yes. Okay.
No.
Okay. Laura, do we need action on this liquor license application?
We don't need action, but they did clarify that it is it's a renewal, not a new application.
That's Villa Erasmo, 6961 Juniper Boulevard, is a renewal application. Any questions or comments? Okay. The other item is the minutes. Everybody, I don't know if you've gotten the minutes, if you've seen them, but anyone want to make a motion on the minutes?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
I second.
Walter, Marianne, all in favor?
Aye.
Any objections, any abstentions? Okay, now I have to catch up. Give me 2 seconds. Minutes, and then that, and then that. If I could see, it would be better. Okay, so with that, if there's nothing, any questions for the chair? If there are none, I'll ask, oh, hold on, we have a problem. Guyanel can't hear the sound. Could you look into that, Mark?
Yeah, now I'm good.
Okay, thank you. And Lee had no way to raise his hand. I don't understand that, but that's okay. All righty, Nan, welcome to the meeting, Nan.
Thank you.
Let me just get my attendance corrected, and then we'll go to the district manager's report. Marianne Zero, are you there? Micheline Von Dretten, are you there? Barbara Toscano, are you there?
Yeah.
Megan Taddeo, are you there? Dennis Steffen.
I'm here.
Are you there? Dennis, thank you.
Got a lot of liquor behind them, too. I would go to his house after this.
First, he looked like
I'm with him. I'm with him next month.
Okay. Connie Santos, Walter Sanchez, Luis Rodriguez, Kelvin Rodriguez, Jerry Drake, Steve Fiedler, Fred Heffley, Mike Leando, Patricia Malatesos, I thought I saw you, yes. Thank you. Eileen Maloney. No? Okay, Mr. Giordano, would you give your district manager's report?
Mr. Vinnie, is Mike Porcelli present?
He's on here. We don't know if he's awake.
I'm awake.
I'm doing good. What about Mariana Zero?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. So there have been some problems, but I don't think recently with mail delivery.
Yes, there was.
There were, especially in portions of Ridgewood and Glendale, from what we know. Laura tracked down a very, very good new postal manager compared to what we've seen in the past from the Ridgewood Post Office, who got back to us quickly. And Laura tracked him down thanks to Christian, right? Romero of...
Yes.
Congresswoman Meng's office. They were very, very responsive. He told me basically approximately, how much staff were out at any one time without getting too specific. And those postal workers had to work real hard to make up the fact that others were out sick and were working much longer shifts. So we haven't gotten any recent complaints with regard to mail delivery.
Yesterday was no delivery in this portion of Glendale.
Okay. I think that you're going to have problems getting daily delivery. There's no doubt about that. Hopefully those problems, Vinny brought to my attention that some of those problems started when some of the senior citizens who do not get direct deposit were expecting their Social Security check toward the end of March. So it's better than it had been. And those postal workers and a lot of these other essential workers have really had their work cut out for them. And I tried to thank them in some correspondence that I think I sent to you when we sent you the meeting notice. But everyone from, God bless those healthcare workers who are working those very long shifts in those very dangerous conditions. You saw the situation at Elmhurst Hospital with the lines virtually around the block. And the demand for care, and some of our hospitals just absolutely overflowing. I think, Vinny, that Wyckoff is taking more patients to help with some of the overload. If you could correct me on that.
They increased the bed count. It's certified for 285 beds. They had 280 beds. Now up to 333 beds. They have sufficient equipment, but the staffing is a problem. The nursing ratio, which should be 1 to 4, is now 1 to 10. So that's where the problem is. There were several that were being transferred to Manhattan to the convention center. Excuse me. And there were 38 waiting for beds in the emergency room, but by this, that should be sorted out soon. The whole thing is transporting, getting the beds ready. They opened up three wings that had been previously closed under the current state administration. So they're at 60, the beds are at 62% occupancy. So there's still room, but it seems to be a softening.
And the other emergency service workers, those who are running these ambulances for EMS and the private hospitals, God bless them, they've been under a lot of stress. The sanitation workers have done a yeoman's job picking everything up. It's the first time I've seen them with masks on. The police department, the fire department, the food service workers, the people in the grocery stores and the supermarkets who are making sure that we have provisions in the pharmacies. So I'm thankful to all of them and then some. The transit authority workers. Spoke to Lucille Songhai today, Vinny, with regard to the possibility of a transportation committee meeting, and John, and talking about either the video conference or audio conference meeting,
okay.
Either the 3rd or the 4th Tuesday of the month. So she's receptive to whatever questions might be put forth and answering those questions in writing. Essentially, any non-essential work is not being done, including, our long-awaited removal of the loose paint along the M line and painting over that M line that we finally got them to start with. Some projects are ongoing. That big sewer project that's going along 70th Street from Calamus Avenue and going south toward Grand Avenue is in full bloom. as far as the Penelope Avenue 74th Street area project, they are been doing concrete work and sidewalk work, curbing, and are getting ready to resurface. I don't know about the start of the reconstruction of the running track and the turf soccer/football field at Juniper. It was supposed to start a few weeks ago, but in these conditions, I don't doubt that it might be delayed quite some time longer. A lesson that I think we need to learn as a country with regard to this outbreak and the scarcity of provisions, as far as masks goes and ventilators goes and gowns, I think we need to do a much better job of having warehouses full of these items for any future problems. I hear that we could have another bout of this coronavirus type situation as we might with the flu a year from now. And I think as a country, we need to do a better job of producing what we consume, especially those items that are very important. And I, for one, have been quite upset for quite some time that we make our computers and other vital intelligence material in other countries where our secrets can be stolen. And I think we've got to bring a lot of our manufacturing, especially the intelligence manufacturing, back to the United States of America.
So you just fit the pattern then. When you get to be in your 60s, you become more conservative. Thank you.
Well, I'm all for conservation, Mr. Arcuri. I'm all for conservation.
Getting back to Wyckoff. Hello? Let me just finish this and then we'll. Getting back to Wyckoff, on Sunday, April 12th, which is Easter Sunday, JCOP and the 104th Precinct will be bringing food and refreshments to Wyckoff Heights staff, to medical and professional staff, to thank them for what they've been doing. And sometime next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, Bob Shomig of the Avenue and one of his clients will be delivering dinner time meals to staff and leadership at Wyckoff also in appreciation of what they've been doing. Okay. Anyone have any questions or comments for Gary?
Yes, Benny, can I say something?
Who's that?
Bob Sinelli.
Sure.
Some couple of years ago, I was advocating keeping the Queens hospitals open. And people had a lot of different opinions about some hospitals. Some thought, well, I don't go to Queens hospitals. I go to Long Island or New York. And I said, you know, there comes a day when we're going to need those hospitals. And I just hope we learn something, because we had about 5 hospitals close in Queens. And if you don't like the hospital, let's not close it. Let's make it better.
Thank you. Anyone else?
This is Ted Renz. Hello?
Go ahead, Ted.
Yeah, hi. So hope all you guys are doing well. I just want to shout out for some of the businesses on Myrtle and as well as throughout our community, particularly restaurants and the pharmacies and special service places that have remained open. And we should do all that we can to support these businesses. And I know Patricia's on the line, and she's doing good work at Hudson Square, and all my big colleagues and the city. So we'll get through this, and hopefully we'll be stronger people. Thank you. And a shout out for Gary for bringing up manufacturing again, something that we in this board have talked about for years. It's important to manufacture things in this country. It's amazing that we have to get everything else from somebody else. We have the capacity to do it. Thank you. Bye.
Anyone have their hand up?
Mr. Chairman, Richie, if I may.
Go. Yes.
I've been advocate as one of the few manufacturers left in the state of New York, fighting here with all of the obstacles that are thrown in my way. I've been advocating for manufacturing for many, many years. And to Gary's point, with technology, all of the new 5G technology is coming out of China, and there are many, many reports that, unfortunately, that there's a lot of spyware within the 5G networks, and everybody's just embracing it wholeheartedly. Again, look at this particular meeting. Many people were concerned over the security concerns of the current technology. So 5G is one of the things that must be looked into. And the other thing must be to make it easier for manufacturers rather than to just throw up obstacles which just push manufacturers out of this state, out of this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else, any comments? Okay. If not, we have committee report. I forget what committee that was. Is that you, Pat Crowley?
It's me.
Would you announce what committee you're reporting?
It's Education Committee. I'm just giving a quick report regarding the Community Education Council meeting. They didn't meet last month. Instead, they had a town hall meeting with Chancellor Carranza. It was well attended. It was at IS5. It was so crowded, it poured out into the gymnasium. I don't have a summary of the questions that were asked. I know some were related to specialized high school. He stated there were no changes going to be made anytime soon. And there was charter school people in the meeting hoping to get some more space for their students, but that was not for District 24. They also are having their meeting at the very moment. We're having ours via Zoom as well, their April meeting. And that's all I have to give a report on regarding the CEC.
Thank you. Any other committees need to report? Okay. No, if not, we'll go to any old business. Any new business? Who's that?
It's Lee.
Yes.
I was just wondering if there's any concerns about getting takeout food during this virus.
I'm sorry?
If it's safe to eat takeout food.
Well, I've been living on it, other than when my daughter comes down the block all dressed and covered with it. She looks like she's got a burqa on, kicks the door in, throws food through the door, and runs away. Zum Stammtisch, Elisa's Fish Market, almost everybody in the neighborhood, they have reduced hours, but they are providing food. It's the same thing as before. Some of them are wearing their gloves and masks, but obviously, yes, the butchers wear their rubber gloves when you go to the butcher store. I know a lot of people.
It's safe.
A lot of people have been shopping locally because when I try to go to Gaspar the butcher, the line is around the corner. And if you go to Stammtisch some days, you have to wait outside to get in, to get your order that you called for.
Wow.
So they're all doing well, and I think the prices are good, reasonably well, from what I've seen. Anybody else comment?
But so far from the studies being done, the coronavirus is not spread through food. That was part of your question.
Well, I guess he might be concerned that somebody sneezed on, that's, so if you've gone to Stop and Shop or any of the other supermarkets, they've put a plastic between you and the clerk. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, with that, like, would you believe up here in Liberty Park, we have Mr. Softy?
Yes, I saw it.
The worst part about that is, though, you've got this truck driver, even if he's wearing gloves, he's handling money, phones, ice cream, driving.
He's got to keep changing his gloves.
Yeah.
Don't buy it.
Obviously, which is not a good thing.
Okay.
And how often are the people in these restaurants able to even change them? Because they'd be going through thousands.
I'm going to get this.
Okay, I have Ed Latoll. Ed?
Yes, Vinny, has anybody expressed concern about how many businesses will not recover and come back in with now over 6 million nationwide out of work, that when with relief that some of these places and some of these businesses realistically are not going to recover and come back?
The big concern in New York City as a whole is that we have, I believe it's 600,000 service-type businesses, restaurants, grocery stores, bars, places like that, that they're trying to stay alive by doing the takeout. But in the restaurant business, it's like a 45% failure normally. So it's difficult to see. The supposed $1 trillion or $2 trillion package that includes another $4 trillion in loans that will be, if you reopen your business and you keep it open for a year, the loan is forgiven. So the government is doing that, making money available.
He got the private room, but he didn't.
I'm sorry? I didn't hear that. What was that, Patty?
Crowley?
Wasn't me.
All right.
So that's about all we know. Any other new business? If not,
motion to adjourn?
Chairman?
Yeah, not yet. Who raised their hand? Richard's iPhone.
Yes.
Yes. We're talking about many difficult times.
You're on mute.
Sorry. Open up your microphone, Rich.
We're off again. Yeah.
Richie, open your microphone. Thank you.
Okay. You were talking about it's now, they said 6 million, but I think it's up to 10 million unemployed. And yes, the many struggling businesses that are trying to get through these troubling times. Right now, where you cannot evict tenants who cannot pay, which I understand that everyone has suddenly been stricken with this. There's no talk whatsoever about the city perhaps forgiving or putting some degree of moratorium or pushing back the property tax, exorbitant property taxes that landlords and businesses are struck with, which come to the point of numerous tax foreclosures on buildings and businesses. And I would hope that some of our elected officials would consider some sort of benefit to landlords and businesses because of the exorbitant property taxes that we're getting hammered with. And I'm sure after this entire ordeal is over, our property values are magically going to skyrocket, even though the real estate market will be decimated. Just something for everyone to consider. Thank you very much for the opportunity to mention that.
Crystal, you have your hand up.
Yes, I have
Now you can put it down. Thank you.
several concerns. So domestic violence is going up, and people really aren't getting help for that. Another concern is like the alcoholism. We were joking about that before, but also drug addicts. And I assume the AA chapters have closed. So they really don't have any support for if they're struggling with their addictions. And then I have concerns for people I know that have gone to the hospital and it's non-COVID patients are not really getting the services they need. Ambulances are taking like half an hour or more to come. So they say if someone is suffering with a heart attack, just go ahead and let them die. 911 response is lower. So obviously we want to save the COVID patients, but there's a lot of other people that are struggling with other issues that aren't getting services right now.
Raise your hand.
So that's a concern. And then my friend from CB6, Mark Laster, has been approaching me about how the homeless would be able to get these stimulus checks. So he wanted me to bring that up as well. What we could do to possibly get this money to people that really need it most and could really be most productive with it.
Okay. Brian Dooley?
Yeah, thanks. I wanted to raise another point about businesses because New York State recently suspended penalties and interests on sales tax payments, but they waited until the day after the sales taxes were due, which doesn't really make any sense. So I guess if you were completely unable to file your sales taxes, you would have gotten a break. But for those people like me that filed on time and sent $35,000 out the door for the month of February, it was too late. So, if somebody could put forth that at the state level, they should be suspending all sales tax payments for the businesses in New York State for a period of time, that would be helpful.
The president talked about doing away with payroll taxes, which is another approach that doesn't hurt the cities, but helps the people. I forget what percentage of the city's income is based on real estate taxes versus sales tax. If the people don't have money, you're not going to collect sales tax no matter what. So
yeah, on retail. Yeah, I understand.
You got to get people back to work.
And then my other comment was, since we are getting close to the end, I want to mention, have everybody have a happy Hanukkah and a happy Easter, since we won't be meeting until
Passover. As Eastern Caesar. Yes. Did anyone else join us since? Let me see. Eileen Maloney, Marianne Zero, Mike Leando, Megan.
No, Benny.
No? Okay,
We
good.
have 33 participants now.
All right. So, any comments about what we did tonight? Good, bad, or indifferent?
I think it was good.
I think it went well.
It's better than not having you.
Hey, I think we did great.
Yeah,
I think we did amazing.
yeah. I think it's good to continue the movement. Yeah.
Within an hour.
I just hope we don't have to do it again.
I second that.
But the show must go on, right?
My message to staff, I'll have an envelope full of paperwork that, in case you didn't gather what was going on tonight, it's all here. Okay, if there's no further
Vinny, I
business.
just want to say
Yes.
that I got on without a password.
Hold on.
No. I got on without a password, so I just want to make sure that, did I need a password? I had the email telling you what it was, but I didn't need it.
Vinny, I make a motion to adjourn.
Everybody slow down.
Okay, thank you.
So that's why we chose to do this with an outside consultant rather than do Zoom with our Borough Hall account because using the Borough Hall account, one of the staff or one of you would have had to do what Mark has been doing with the control, the microphones, and everything else. So there is another, the city has proposed another alternative system. We may experiment with that because it's for free. But I personally prefer having a consultant operate it for us. So you're welcome to send your comments to us on that. So again,
motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
Second.
So it was Walter Clayton and Lee Rottenberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so have a blessed Easter and a great Passover.
You guys stay healthy.
You too.
Holidays.
Stay healthy.
Take
Bye,
care,
guys.
everybody.
See you soon.
Okay.
Bye. See you soon.
Thank you.
Great job, everybody. Good. Be healthy.